Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Corey, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. So, I've been thinking about how do I make this process quicker? How do I move you from sexless to sexual success in the quickest time as possible? And a lot of it is that I can only present information, I can only give you opportunities for you to take, and then it's up to you to be of a type of mindset in order to get there. Now, what type of mindset do you need to have in order to be successful? Not just m- transforming a relationship from sexless to sexual success, but how do you transform that and be consistent for the rest of your life? Because all know that some of the tactics out there right now are effective for a season and then all of a sudden they fade away. So it might be the fact that you tried date nights before and it seemed to be turning things around, and then all of a sudden now it's not working. You've tried holidays, you've tried to spend money in terms of fixing up the house, you've tried being more around the house and doing more things around the house. And while it works for a certain season, it doesn't work for a long term. So what is the thing that you need to have in order to change it and then for it to be effective and be effective for a very long period of time? And I was thinking of like the two different mindsets that most people have when it comes to situations like this. And this is based off of the conversations I've had with many guys, and I've started seeing that there's two distinct guys that do this effectively. So the guys that come in and become successful and are continuously successful have got an operator types mindset, and operator mindset is more of somebody who understands that they're in a negative situation and they see that there's problems with this situation, but they don't allow that situation to dictate who they are. And regardless of what they can see, they continuously try and do the right things in order to get the result that they need. Whereas there's the guys that are coping, or in this case I'm going to call them doping. They got this doping mindset where they just, the circumstances are overwhelming and they never make moves, and they'll only make moves when they see some sort of sign that it might be it's going to go well. So they just become sort of paralyzed by the situation that it is. They become overwhelmed with the sense of emotions. The Everything that is negative brings them down to the point that they cannot make any moves. So when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, how do I get everybody to the place where they're operating like, though they're walking and moving like an operator, somebody who is not deterred by any negativity around. So, work is acting up, and people are at work. It's a bit stressful, and there's a lot more demands on him. That doesn't affect how he operates in his day. Circumstances have changed at home. She's aggressive. She's distant. She's not speaking to him. Whatever has changed, that doesn't change the way he's operating. He still knows that he's in control, and he continues to pluck away at the different things that he needs to be doing in order to change his relationship. Whereas some people, because of the distance and everything, then they just will not move. They just feel like there's no way of making the next move. So really, it becomes this sort of operator type mindset where they whether or not it's a good or bad circumstances, they still find ways of thriving. Whereas the other person, they just fold under those circumstances. That circumstance is one that makes them fall apart. Now, I know it sounds abstract. It sounds like thinking. It sounds like some sort of philosophy. And I was thinking about how that happened in my life, and I started thinking about sharing a story that I've not shared. I share it rarely, but this happened to me when I was 18 years old. So when I was 18, started in the game, and when I say the game, I was learning to become a pickup artist, and started getting some results. Started getting pretty good. And then I met somebody who was incredibly amazing, and we started dating. And at that point, I just stopped being a pickup artist for a season. And she was from Brazil at the time. And at that time, she was the love of my life at the time. So I mean, we were having an incredible relationship, so incredible that I managed to see her family. She was in Brazil. She was Brazilian, but she moved to the UK with her family. Started dating. Things were incredibly amazing, and we continued. in that vein. And then once they decided to go on away on holiday in Brazil, and we're communicating. And then when she was over there, um, I ended up getting a phone call from one of her cousins who I knew. Said, I don't know if you've heard, but she was in an accident. She passed away. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, how is this going? How has this happened? And the last time I saw her was the last time I saw her, because the funeral was held in Brazil, and then just never saw her ever again. And it was at 18, it was hard to wrap my head around what was going on, and there was no real sense of closure. And the family was grieving, so there's nothing I could really do in order to get more information. So for many months, I just couldn't understand what was going on. Lost weight, couldn't eat, you know, depressed, uh, suicidal thoughts. Everything came was overwhelming, and I was now in this state of derping or doping or whatever you can call it. Just really, I'm the guy with the girlfriend that died, so just leave me alone. I'm just gonna self destruct basically, and I'm not gonna move because this is the feeling that I have, and and when I was thinking about this, I was thinking that you know, to each man we have a decision every day that we wake up, and you got two paths. Do I go and become an operator, or do I go and become a derper? And in that season, I woke up and every day chose being a derper. I said, okay, these are my circumstances, these are the feelings, these are the situations that I find myself in, and I'm choosing to pick being a derper. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, and if it's your first time, welcome. Those inputs will always have outputs. So the more I moved around thinking that way, uh, as a process, I was getting negative. It was just spiraling my life out of control to the point I was just in a very terrible state. If anything, I was getting closer and closer to really just ending it all. Luckily, I met somebody who gave me the same speech, but into different words. Was like, you've got a choice. Every day you wake up, you can choose to be the guy who's got a girlfriend that died, or choose to be the guy who had an amazing experience with that person. And, she's good to experience that as well, but it was cut short. It's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just something that you can celebrate. And, so they gave me that. And I started waking up and choosing to be an operator. And I think when it comes to being good in terms of being a pickup artist, maybe that was part of it, a driving force that I just was looking for that same thing. I was looking to find that same thing, and nobody would compare to her. So I just kept on pushing as hard as I could to get better. But again, it was that operator mindset that, okay, despite how I feel and how the circumstances have shaped, I'm not going to allow myself to be a derper. I'm just going to allow myself to be an operator. And you now have a choice. You're in a sexless relationship. The relationship is where is at. A lot of the negative feelings that you have are, are, are justified. You're justified to feel the frustration, to feel resentment, to feel angry, but at the same time, every time you wake up, you choose to pick them up. And every time you pick them up, keeps you within a sexless relationship. So you have to make that choice. How do I choose to live my day from here on? And when you choose to operate, in which case, you're doing everything that we're teaching you within, Reignited Men, or teaching you within the Thriving Tribesmen podcast, then you're most likely to be successful, not just in the relationship, but in life. Because as you choose derping, it doesn't just affect you within the relationship, it affects you everywhere where you go, because it becomes time consuming. Your mental bandwidth is a lot heavier when you're derping than when you're thriving and working as an operator, because then you're making good and sound decisions, not influenced by how you feel, but based off of the information that you're collecting, which is how you should be. And this is very attractive for your partner. So I'm just going to knock it on the head here. Hopefully, that's something that you needed to hear, especially on this Monday, where I can't believe it's already February, but we're smashing it. So, guys, if you want to learn more, like I said, we built a community. We're going to be releasing some courses this week, and as we release those courses, we'll be opening up the doors for our community, and it's called Thriving Tribesmen Community, where we're going to be getting men to come in, gather, get lessons, and it's going to be a community where you can be able to grow and then be an operator, and how to become that operator that is successful, not just in your marriage, but successful in life and empowered. So thank you very much, guys. If you want to learn more about this, go to my Instagram, thriving_tribesmen. There will be a website coming up soon as well, so it'll be easier for you guys to go and put in an information and find out the next steps. But for now, go to thriving_tribesmen on Instagram and just DM me Unleashed, and then we'll give you details on how to join the community. So thank you very much, guys. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care.